This is a CCEA GCSE M4 paper, and this one is from May 2023. Let's take a wee look then at question 1. Colm wants to put £4,500 in a savings account for 2 years. He can choose one of two options. Option A, 3.5% compound interest for 2 years, 5% compound interest per year for the first year, followed by 2% for the second year. Which option is better and by how much? So let's do some sums. So the first one, again, I mean, you can do this a couple of different ways. You can do it a slow way if you wish. So you could find 1% by dividing by 100, that's 45, times by 3.5, added on, and so on. But the quick and I guess more efficient way of doing these then is going to be 4,500 times 1.035 squared, and that then sorts out the 2 years for you. So that gives us £4,820.51. So the sum there, as I said, was 1.035 squared. Here we need to do it a couple of steps. So it's going to be 4,500 times by 1.05. And that gives me 4,770. And then multiply that by 1.02. Wait, someone's made a mistake there. It's 1.06. I can't type. Let's go again there. 4,500 multiplied by 1.05. Sorry, it's 4,725. Apologies. And then timesing this in by 1.02. And that's 2% on. And that gives us £4,819.50. So those are my two amounts there. And this one gives more, and it's by only £1, 1p. So is it option A, and that's by £1, 1p. Graph shows the cost of hiring a mini digger for up to 7 days, including the delivery charge. Use the graph to find the delivery charge. That's for 0 days, so that then would be 50. And then find the gradient of the line. We have a couple of different ways of doing this, but I'm just going to set it up like this. So there's a wee point there where it kind of hits. Hope you can see that. And if I do just a rise over run between there and there, that would be fine. So across there, that's 4. Remember to use this scale here, and up here is from 50 to 350. So that one would be 300. So it's going to be 300 divided by 4. And that gives us 75. What does the gradient represent? Well, let's go back and take a wee look. As you go across one, that's going across a day, you're going up £75. So each day you go across, you go up £75. So it just tells you the daily price. So the price then represents, so it's the daily price, which then is £75 per day. Expand and simplify, so multiplying this, 2y times 3y gives me 6y squared minus 14y minus 8y. These two are like terms, so that'll give me then 6y squared, take away 22y. Question 4, a circle diameter 12 just fits inside the semicircle is shown. Show the shaded area and unshaded area are exactly the same. So let's find the area first of the wee circle. If that's a diameter then of 12, then the radius is going to be 6. So for the wee shape, area is pi r squared. So it's pi times 6 squared, and that gives me then 36 pi. Incidentally, that gives me 113.097 ... goes on, but it's nice to leave it as 36 pi just for the minute. I think it works for our calculation as well. Then the big semicircle, can we see what's going on here? That 12 is actually the radius for that one. So we want then for the big one, our area we want is a half pi r squared, because that's the area then of half a circle. So that's going to be a half times pi times 12 squared. 144 divided by 2 gives me then 72 pi. So the unshaded is going to be then 72 pi, take away the shaded bit, which is 36 pi, and that gives then 36 pi. So those two are the same, and we are good. The times at which members at a gym spend on a treadmill are recorded in the table. Estimate the mean. So here we need a midpoint, because it's a grouped frequency table. So that's going to be 7.5. That's going to be 22.5. That's going to be 37.5. Between 45 and 52.5. And then our totals, if you want, are fx. So that's our f, and that's our x. So that would be our fx there. So 8 times 7.5 is 4 times 15. That's the same as 60. 3 times 22.5. It's an easy one as well. Not sure why I'm using my calculator. That gives me 67.5. 5 times 37.5. 187.5. And then 4 times 52.5. I think that's 210. It is 210. So what do? We add this up. That gives us 20. We add this up. You can take my word for it. Gives 525. So our estimated mean then is 525 divided by 20. And if you do that in your calculator, you get 26.25. Explain why your answer in A is only an estimate of the mean time. Well, the way this works for group frequency is we just assumed all 8 of these were on the treadmill for 7.5 minutes. All 8 of them may have been on for 1 minute. It's anywhere between 0 and 15. So for a grouped frequency, it's only an estimate. So it's our best guess. And our best guess is, of course, then they're going to be the midpoint. So grouped frequency. So we don't know the exact time. Seems like a reasonable enough answer. Is it possible to have a right angle triangle with sides 20, 21 and 28? Well, this is a Pythagoras question, and if 20 squared plus 21 squared equals 28 squared, then the answer is yes. So 20 squared plus 21 squared that equals 841. 28 squared doesn't. It equals 784. So therefore the answer is no, because Pythagoras doesn't work for it. Barry sold his car for 10,225. The car had depreciated by 18.2% since Barry had bought it originally. How much did Barry pay for the car originally? So because it's gone down 18.2%, that means 10225, then as 100 take away 18.2, so that then is 81.8%. To find 1%, we do 10225 divided by 81.8. You can take my word for it, that gives you 125, and that means then 100% is 12500. So the original price of the car was 12500, so 12,500. Solve this equation. This one's not too bad, but I'm going to change everything first to 12ths. I think that kind of makes more sense. So this is going to be 4 twelfths upon 2x minus 5 plus 9 twelfths upon 3x plus 1 plus 10 twelfths. And then the trick here, it's an equation, so we're going to times through everything by 12. Now be careful here, that only affects here. It gives me a 4 here upon this same bracket. You don't need to times the bracket by 12. So I'll get 4 upon 2x minus 5 plus 9 upon 3x plus 1 plus 10. Now we're multiplying out our bracket, of course, so that gives me then 8x minus 20 plus 27x plus 9 equals 10. That, of course, then gives me 35x minus 11 equals 10. 35x, adding 11 to both sides gives me 21. So x is 21 over 35. They both divide by 7, and so my final answer then would be 3/5. Question 9, write 4725 as a product of prime factors. Write your answer in index notation. Your calculator will do that for you, but let's just kind of do it our slow, sensible method. So let's see if it divides by 3. So that's 4725 divided by 3, and it does go, so it's 1575. Let's check and see if it divides by 3 again, which is 525. 3 again, 175. I happen to know it doesn't divide by 3 again for a number of reasons. One being 3 goes into 180, so it can't go into 175, so we're now going down to 5, which is 35, and obviously that divides by 5 to give me 7, and that divides by 7 then to give me 1. So these are numbers then. So 4725 equals 3 times 3 times 3 times 5 times 5 times 7, written then in index notation, is 3 cubed times 5 squared times 7. Factorize this. It's a straightforward one. It's a 1x squared, so we can go straight to brackets here. Two numbers and multiply to give me minus 35, and the same two numbers add to give me 2, so it'll be 7 and minus 5. X plus 7, x minus 5. Hence or otherwise solve this equation. So the way we solve quadratics is to get everything to one side. That gives us x squared plus 2x minus 35, which is just exactly what we had up here. So we can effectively then go x plus 7 upon x minus 5 equals 0. And that means then x plus 7 is 0, or x minus 5 is 0. And that gives me x is minus 7 or 5. So minus 7 or 5, then are my answers. Question 11 then, find the equation of the line passing through the points 0, minus 2 and 6, 16. We're trying to sub it out into effectively y equals mx plus c. So we need to get our m first of all, and I'm going to use the gradient formula for that. You don't need to. You could sit and draw the thing out and do a wee sketch and try and do a rise over run or something like that, or try and count squares and work out that sort of thing. But the most straightforward way really is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. Or y2 then is 16 minus minus 2 all over 6, take away 0, that's 18 over 6, then which is 3. So that means we have y equals 3x plus c. Now normally you can substitute either this coordinate or this coordinate into this, and that'll find your c. So what do I mean by that? You exchange your y for a 16, your x for a 6, and sub it in and find then the c from there. But they've given us a wee special coordinate here, the point 0 minus 2. Think about that on the graph. 0 across 2 down, that is my y-intercept. So this here is just minus 2. So that's y equals 3x minus 2. Boy is flying a kite as shown in the diagram. Calculate h, the height of the kite above the ground. So that's us here. So this looks like a trigonometry one. That's 35, that's 7, and only that's 8, but I'm going to label it as O because that's my opposite, that's my hypotenuse, that's my adjacent. So I want O and I have H, so I'm going to use sine. So I have sine x is O over H, and then sine 35 is, then I'm going to call that now H, hope that doesn't confuse people too much, over 7. So H, which we're looking for, is 7 sine 35, and you can take my word for it, then that gives us 4.015, and there's a few more decimal places there you can go on to kind of leave those in. We then need to add 85 centimeters to that. Now be careful here, we're in meters obviously, because that was 7 meters, so we're in meters here, and so therefore the height above the ground, so it's going to be 4.015 plus 0.85. And that gives us then 4.865, 4.87 meters. A cylindrical can of beans has a radius of 3.4 centimeters and a height of 12 centimeters. The entire curved surface area is covered by the label. The label has a 1 centimeter overlap to allow for sticking. Calculate the area of the label. Hopefully that makes sense to people. So if I take that label off, it just gives me a big rectangle. That H there is the 12, and then that's the same as the circumference, so that's 2 pi r. But what they're saying is there's another wee overlap centimeter, so I'm going to find the 2 pi r, and then I'm going to add 1 to it. So my circumference is 2 pi r. That's 2 times pi times 3.4, and that gives me 21.3628. Again, there's a few more decimal places there, but that should be enough for us in terms of what we need. We're then going to add 1 to that, and that gives us 22.3628. My area then is going to be 22.3628 times by 12. Hopefully you'll see that. So that's a 21, and then plus the 1, and then times by the 12. Again, put that into your calculator, you get 268.35. Question 14. The following information is available relating to, a data set on age. The median age is 14, maximum age is 35, the range of ages is 32. Lower quartile is 12, interquartile range is 8. Use all the above information to draw a box plot for the data set. Not quite sure how they want us to draw it here. I'm just going to draw it right over the top. So the median then is 14. I'm going to try and make, I suppose, a centimetre either side. So there's my 14 there. I go then from there to there. Maximum age is 35. So that's going to be up here. And hopefully you can see that. And it says in the range of ages is 32, so if that's 35, then the range is going to be down then at 3. Give me a wee second here. Yeah, so it means our minimum then is going to be 3. And the other thing then, so lower quartile is 12, so that'll be here. And it then says our interquartile range is 8, so that takes us up then to 20. That would be our upper quartile. And again, I can draw the rest on from there. So again, I'll be doing it nice and bold so that the examiner can see that I have actually drawn the lines in between. A little slightly weird setup here. And that's what we have. Alright. Hopefully you were able to see that. Okay, Jane states that the majority of people in this data set are aged below 16. Is she correct? Well, the way a box plot works is 25% of the people are here, between here and here, 25% between here and here, 25% between here and here. So people below 16 is kind of from here down. So she is right, because it's 50% of them are going to be here. So the majority is definitely below. So the answer is yes. And if we say that 50% are below 14, therefore majority are below 16. Hopefully that makes a wee bit of sense. Question 15. The distance a car travels is 62 kilometers, correct to the nearest kilometer. The time taken for a journey is given as 1 hour 11 minutes, correct to the nearest minute. What's the maximum average speed of the car in kilometers per hour? Okay, so our speed is then obviously distance over time. And we want then to make this a maximum and this is a minimum. So maximum distance is then going to be 62.5. And then our minimum time is going to be 1 hour 10.5 minutes. And so it's 1 hour 10.5 minutes, and then we need to work that out then in terms of hours. So 10.5 divided by 60. I find this really hard to read, is 0.175. So in terms of hours, we have 1.175. So our average speed then is 62.5 divided by 1.175, and that gives in 53.19. Find the maximum average speed. So it gives 53.19, and that then is kilometers per hour. The equation of a line L1 is y equals mx plus 5. L1 passes through the point 48. The line L2 is perpendicular to L1 and passes through the point minus 3,2. Find the equation of the line L2. So it's y equals mx plus 5, and we know that 4, 8 works for it. So we have y equals mx plus 5, and we're going to sub in 4 and 8 into this. So that means 8 equals 4m plus 5. That means the m, so we take away 5 from both sides, we get 3 is 4m, and our gradient in this case then is going to be 3/4. Therefore the gradient of L2 is going to be then obviously minus 4 over 3, because it's perpendicular, so it's going to be the negative reciprocal. So we then have y equals minus 4 over 3x plus c, and we know that passes through the point minus 3,2. 2 equals minus 4 over 3 upon minus 3 plus c. If you want, you can just stick this into your calculator, but minus 4 over 3 times minus 3, that just cancels, those 3's there just cancel out, so you can have 4 plus c, and then that gives me my c is minus 2. So subbing my minus 2 then back into this, I get y equals minus 4 over 3x minus 2. Good old circle theorems. Let's take a wee look then. O is the centre of the circle. We have that as 54. Calculate the size of the angle P. Well, obviously that's going to be 90 degrees. And so P is going to be then 90, take away 54, which then is going to be 36. Angle Q, that's a tangent, and that's P. So 36 then take away from that, we're going to have 54. The lines AB, BC and CA are tangents to the circle. What type of triangle is BPQ? You must explain your reasoning clearly. So it's angle BPQ. We need to work out our angles here and see what we have. Now incidentally, I know those two are the same length because they're tangents coming from the same point. So we're good with that, but I think we have a few angles then to work out from there. So first of all, I'm going to work out angle ARP. And we'll write this then as we go. So ARP is 55. How do I know that? That's 70. Those two things are the same length, so it means those two angles then are the same. 70 taken away from 180 gives me obviously 110 divided by 2, so it's 55 degrees again. You need the reasons for that. So it's then two tangents give us then an isosceles triangle. The next angle then I'm going to work out is PRQ. It's very similar then to what we have. So PRQ, so that's our 55. That was our 55. And so straight line. So it's 180 take away 55 plus 65. 55 plus 65 is 102. So that gives us then, I think, an angle then of 60. So that angle then is going to be 60. BPQ. So BPQ, by the alternate segment theorem, of course, that's going to be 60. And then BQP, that ends up being 60 as well. Again, you can use alternate segment theorem because of the same thing. So that was BQP. I've written it down here, you can just see it. again, alternate segment theorem. If that's 60 and that's 60 and that's 60, then the answer must be an equilateral triangle. So they're all 60 degrees, therefore it's an equilateral triangle. Question 18. A golf club has 240 members. A survey is to be carried out using a stratified sample of the members. Some of the information relating to the survey is recorded in the table. So we have 42 here and we have 7. That's okay. And it looks like then, in terms of their stratified sample, then they're dividing by 6 to kind of get from there to there. So if we then do 114 divided by 6, this is really hard to read at this, so I think we're on. That gives us, I think, 19. And we times that by 6. Obviously, we're going to get 30. If we add those 42, 114 and 30, you can take my word for it and take it away. I think we end up then with 54, and dividing that by 6, then that'll be 9. Some of the information to record in the table, complete the table. So because it's stratified, it's obviously, the amount of juniors needs to be, I guess, appropriate to the amount of kind of 18 to 40s and so on, and that's where it works from there. Factorise 4/9 x squared minus 100. That's a tough enough one. That's going to be difference of 2 squares. So it's going to be, the square root of that is going to be 2/3 x plus 10. 2/3 x minus 10. This next one again is quite messy. So there's an a we want to take out to start with. So it's a upon 6x squared minus 7xy minus 3y squared. And so again, then we want, if we do 6 times the 3, we can get then 18. So they're multiplying to give 18 and adding to give minus 7. So we want to split that into a minus 9 and a 2. And we can kind of work out from there. But depends which way you want to go about it. The answer to this one then is going to be a upon 3x minus y, 2x plus 3y. Your 3x times your 2x, of course, is going to give you your 6x squared. Your 1 minus 1 and your 3 gives you your 3y squared. I'm playing around from that. There are different methods for that, and that was a bit of a cheat on one of them, but hopefully that makes sense. The side of a shed is in the shape of a trapezium. As shown, the height of the back of the shed is 3.5 meters. The height of the front is given as 2x minus 1 meters, and the length is given by 5x minus 4. The area of the side of the shed is 19.5. By forming and solving a quadratic equation, find the height at the front and the length of the shed. So we're going to be using the formula. So it's actually in the front of your inside front cover there. I'm not going to half a plus b upon h because it's a trapezium. And so its area is going to be a half. A and b is this. So it's going to be 2x minus 1 plus 3.5. Now that tidies up a wee bit. And then, so that's my a plus b. And then my h here is the 5x minus 4. And we know as well that that's going to be 19.5. So 19.5 equals a half upon 2x plus 2.5, 5x minus 4. I'd be tempted to times everything through here by 2, so 2 19.5s. I think we're going to go for 39. And then multiplying out my bracket. So I then get the 39, this is going nice and slowly, 2x plus 2.5 upon 5x minus 4. And let's see where we are. So we have 39 equals 10x squared outer, is then minus 20x, inner 2.5 5s plus 12.5x, and then 4 2.5s then minus 10. That's obviously a minus, whenever I did, let me see, the minus 10, the 2.5 minus 12.5x, so that gives me then 10 x squared minus 20 plus 12.5x, so that then is minus 20 plus 12.5. I feel like I made a wee mistake here. Let me pause a second and see if I can sort it out. Yeah, it's too late in the day for me here. Let's multiply this out again. Apologies. So 2x times the 5x gives me 10x squared. Then outer 2x times minus 4. I'm not sure where I got minus 20 from. That's of course minus 8x. Then that's plus 12.5x minus 10. So the minus 8x plus 12.5x, that gives me plus 4.5x. And then minus 10 is 39. 10x squared plus 4.5x minus 49 equals 0. We can solve like that if we wish. 20x squared plus 9x minus 98 equals 0. Again, we can solve like that. This does factorize, but it's messy. So I'd be using in the formula. And we have a, b, and c. I've taken up much too much space here. So we have 20, 9, and minus 98. And x then is going to be minus 9 plus or minus the square root of 9 squared. Take away 4 times 20 times, so it's going to be a plus 4, 20, and 98. It's getting a bit messy here, all over 40. You can take my word for it that there's two answers come out to be here. One of them is negative, one of them is positive, but the answer then for x is going to be 2. If x is 2, then the height is going to be, so 2x, 2 times 2 is 4, take away 1, so that'll be 3, and then subbing into the 5x minus 4, the length is going to be 6. I got there eventually. The table and histogram show some information relating to the time taken by 140 office workers to travel to work. And then we have this here. Complete the frequency table and complete the histogram. So let's take a wee look at what we have. Had to change the light here, so excuse the shadows just for the last couple of questions. This is where we are here. We know 60 to 70 is 33, and there's 60 to 70 down there. So that's obviously a 10, and we've times that then by 3.3, which is our frequency density. So 40 to 60, our height there, as you can see, is going to be 2.4. So we're going to be 2.4 times by the 20, and that gives us then a value of 48. If we do our sums here and take them away, let's see, we have 48 plus 33 plus 39 plus 16, and that gives then 136, and it goes up to 140, so it means our frequency then for this bit has to be 4. So 4 then for that height, so the frequency of the bar, then the frequency density then completed. So obviously we have 40 here, so how are we going to get our area then of 4? So it's 40 times something here, then that gives me 4, so it's going to be 0.1. Hopefully we can just about see that. That didn't come out very clearly. Let's go a wee bit thicker. And that looks okay then from there. Let's take a wee look then at part B. Part B says calculate an estimate of the median time. So we have 140 here, so effectively we're looking for the 70th. So this is a wee bit complicated. So we need to go then 4 plus the 48, that gives me 52, and we need another 18 there to get to the 70th, but there's 33 in this group, so we need 18 33rds of the way through this group here, which then is of size 10. So obviously we're looking, let's write it down, we're looking for the 70th value, and as I say, we need 18 over 33 times 10, which is 5.45. So let's go back, see if this still makes sense. We need 5.45 of the way through this group, because we're on 52 here to get up to 70. We need then 18 33rds of the way through this group here. So that's 5.45. That starts at 60. So if we add then our 60 to that, we get 65.45. We have a couple of questions to go, and we are close enough. So this one here, solve this giving your answer to 2 decimal places. Now we can do this a couple of different ways. The way I normally do it is to kind of get this over to this side here, so I'm just going to do that. I'm going to go 3 over 3x minus 1 plus 4 over 2x plus 3 equals 5, and then I'm going to find the common denominator here. So times in top and bottom by this one. Then equals 5. Again, joining those together, so on the top line I'm going to have 6x plus 9 plus 12x minus 4 all over multiplying this out. I'm going to have 6x squared plus 9x minus 2x, so it's plus 7x minus 3, and that then equals 5. 6x plus 9 plus 12x minus 4 equals 5 upon 6x squared plus 7x minus 3. Tidying this up gives me 18x plus 5. Multiplying this out gives me 30x squared plus 35x minus 15. I'm going to take away 18x from both sides, so that gives me 30x squared plus 17x, and then take 5 from both sides, minus 20 equals 0. We have a wee clue here. It says give your answer to 2 decimal places, so that gives a hint to me that it's very unlikely to factorize. So I'm going to go A is 30, B is 17, and C is minus 20, and then x equals minus 17 plus or minus the square root of 17 squared minus 4 upon 30 upon minus 20, and that's all over then the 2a, which is 60. Put that into your calculator, get it all tidied up. We get x equals 0.58, or we get x equals minus 1.15. On to the final question. It says a cone with a base radius 5.25 and a volume 497 is made by folding the sector as shown. Calculate the nearest degree, the angle theta at the apex of the sector. So this is here, needed to form the cone. So this is a bit of paper that's been rolled up then to make the cone. We've been given the volume here, so using the volume formula with the radius, we can work out the height, and then we'll take it from there. So our volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared h, so that means 497 equals 1/3 times pi times 5.25 squared times by h. That means by h I'm going to divide by all this. H is 497 over 1/3 times pi times 5.25 squared. Put that in the calculator and rearrange, you get 17.21 and it then kind of goes 905-ish or something in and around there. That's the height. For the surface area, which is effectively what this is the surface area of the cone. We need the surface area, and then we're going to go backwards from a sector. We're going to need then this L here. So we need to do Pythagoras with the 17 with the 5.25. So this here, which I'm going to call L, because that's our length. So it's going to be L squared equals 17.21905 squared plus 5.25 squared. And again, I'm sure you're competent enough to kind of work that in your calculator. Square this, add them together, take the square root, and I get an L then of 18.00161, which is kind of reasonably straightforward there. So that means this here is effectively 18.00, and we are then trying to work out, let's see what we have. It says calculate the nearest degree of the angle of the apex of the sector needed then to form the cone. So if that's 18 and then that's the theta, let's see where we can take it then from there. So we're going to have, using our sector formula, theta over 360 times pi times r 18.00161 squared equals pi times 5.25, because it's pi RL is obviously our curved surface area. Again, that's in your formula at the front, times 18.00161,524, and so we have that. Again, we put that into our calculator, so that's our number there. We get our number then from there, and then divide this through by this times by 360. Theta comes out then to be 105 degrees, and that's us.